Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are going to be back with Pilot to ATC. I really enjoyed last night's flight with it, and so we're going to be messing around with it again. But today we're also going to be using it for something a little different. We're going to be using it to fly a VOR flight. We're going to do a flight flying strictly using VORs. And VORs are basically omnidirectional rangefinders that allow us to, they're basically beacons that go in all 360-degree directions. I believe they go up to sometimes up to 40,000 feet. And based on, terrain, things like that, line of sight, you can typically get about anywhere from 100 to 150 miles out of them. So it can be a pretty effective way to navigate. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to be using the G1000 here in the Cessna 182. And we're going to be using Pilot to ATC to get our VOR frequencies. This thing is freaking awesome, man. I'm really enjoying this piece of software. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. And then we'll get the plane started and start programming our flight, if you will. Not really much to program, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Alright, so here we are back with Pilot to ATC. You can change the map mode, and we are out at Miami. We're out at Miami International, so we're going to go and cruise around. Now, with the satellite view, it's a little hard to see them, but for example, here's one of our VORs right here. So let's go ahead and come out of, let's go to terrain view. That's probably going to be the easiest to see the VORs. And we can select the VORs down here. You can either turn them on or off, or you can also set on the NDBs. So navigation directional beacons, but I find the VORs to be better. And then we can even have it with a compass rose on it. So that's pretty slick. I like that. I didn't know about the compass rose till I just clicked on it right now. And so you can see they're sort of all over the place. So we can use them to get around town here, if you will. So we're not going to go too far out, just sort of a quick flight and just sort of see how we can use these to navigate. Because you can use them to get you back home. You can use them to get you to certain destinations across the country. Now, I can tell you right now, there's way more than that. So these must be different. Let me mouse over this again. So let's see here. Show VORs. That's interesting. Oh, I see. That was just Florida. I'm like, why is that not looking right? Okay. I thought I had backed out to where I could see the whole country. I'm like, there are way more VORs than that. Anyway, so here, as we climb inland, you guys can see these things are everywhere. And so you can use them to get around town. Now you may lose signal for a little bit. Like for example, if you were to go from here to here, now you'd probably use a different route, and that's a pretty long route. But if you were to do that, you'd probably, just set yourself with a bearing. I know that from this VOR, I need to travel X bearing until I pick up the signal for this one. Then you just navigate to the VOR. So that's sort of what we're going to do today. So the neat thing is, let's go ahead and get our new flight plan here. We're just going to hit new. And what we can do is, let's lock on down to Miami again. And where's Miami Airport? There we go. And we're about over here in the FedEx Shipping Center. So let's see here. Add user defined waypoint. Okay, so there. That's where we're starting. And actually here, let's probably do something better than that. We want VFR first off. Let's just go waypoint and KMIA. There we go. So that's where we're starting. Let's get rid of that waypoint there. All right, so now we're going to start out from Miami, and I think I want to start out. Let's go out and fly over here, over the Virginia Key. And so we can do this one of two ways. Now, I've never tried this before in Pilot to ATC. Now, normally we would just take note of this frequency here, but it's actually kind of hard to read. That's my only gripe, is that it's a little hard to see what the frequency is based on the way they have it. And we're zoomed in as far as I can go, so I can't move it, I can't do anything. So that's kind of a drag. But let's see what happens if we add the VOR Virginia Key as a waypoint. There's our key right, or our key. There's our frequency right there, 117.10. So there's the first one, the first leg. And then let's see here. So what's the distance there? 250 knots. I wish we are not going to be at 250 knots. We're not going to be at flight level 180, but that's okay. So let's see. And we're flying direct. track 117. And so now, really all we're interested in is, let's add Fort Lauderdale. That's going to be a big jump, isn't it? That's quite a lot if memory serves. We'll see how this goes. I think that's going to be a long flight. I wish it was giving me the distance. What happens if I validate? You must have a departure airport as the first waypoint. I did! Okay. Apparently I have to pick the SID. Load. There. Alright. So we're coming out of Miami. Oh, that's not bad. Never mind. We're looking at 19.3 miles, 7 hours. Never mind. We're good. We're totally good. Okay, so let's keep moving here. So, I've never been out to Florida before, so you guys got to forgive me here. So let's say we wanted to make a turn and come out here. Let's see what kind of distance we got here. So if we were to add the label... our waypoint here. I don't know why it's not giving me a distance. And then maybe to the Golden Gate. Or down in Naples. It looks like. And then if we wanted to fly back home on the Dolphin. Okay? So we're going to just use these frequencies. Basically spin the plane around. And bring her on back home. Okay, so let's see what we get here. And that's all I'm going to do for this. Now, we do need to quote-unquote validate. You must have a departure point as the first waypoint. I thought we already set that. And a destination airport as the last waypoint. Oh, I see. Alright, fine. So we want to add a approach. Because we're literally just coming back home. So let's see how this works. There. Oh, now it worked. I liked that. Okay, cool. So let's see here. We're going out of Miami, going to Virginia Key, going over to Fort Lauderdale, LaBelle, Cyprus, Naples. Top of descent, we're not going to 18,000 feet, so we'll disregard that. We'll have to reset that here in a minute. Because that flight level is completely wrong. We're going to be doing like flight level 5,000. So let's set that. 6,500 feet. Alright, so it knows that there's an avoidance there. Ground speed, maybe 110 knots if we're lucky. Ah, that one's a hike. So over to LaBelle is very long. That's going to be 80 miles. That's going to be a hike. And then again, we've got a couple big jumpers there, but maybe we can shave some time off. Either way, you guys will get the gist. I don't know that I'll probably skip out some of the route for you guys. That way you don't have to just watch all the boring crap. But anyway, so now let's go ahead and... Oh, I need to launch FSUI PC7. There we go. And then now we can file our flight plan. Oh, oops. We can connect to the simulator first. Okay. Now let's file that flight plan. And let's see what happens. So, now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the cockpit. Alright, so we are in the seat of this beautiful bird. Going to be using the the G1000. I'm not going to worry about the pad today. We're just going to get her started. So let's get those batteries rolling. Let's get that beacon light turned on. Get the nav light on. Prime with the fuel pump. Shut that warning up. Push that throttle to full until we get pressure. Oh, wait. Mixture. There we go. There we go. That's what I need. Sorry. Alright, we'll crack that back. Here's my fuel pump before I flood the engine, if I didn't already. And now we'll crack it. Fuel tanks are set to both. That's good. Mixture's full. Prop is full. And let's see if she actually starts for me this time. I always have the hardest time getting this plane started. Hey, got it. How about that? Alright, let's get those avionics turned on. Get rid of that inset map. It drives me nuts. Although, you know, I do like is we can go to the PFD menu here. I like the synthetic terrain. Oh, it's not working. Oh, maybe it is. Whoa, lagging all of a sudden. What is that? That was interesting. Never done that to me before. You know what, though? I just purchased the Miami airport from the catalog. So maybe it's having trouble loading that for the first time. I don't know. Alright, so technically what we're doing, I know we filed a flight plan, but really this would be a VFR flight is what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm just using the pilot to ATC for our, whatchamacallit. So, and someone pointed out, yes, normally you would have to request clearance. That was sort of what was throwing me off yesterday. I don't know if I tried that on the recording or not. But typically to start out, you would actually have to request clearance before you would copy your clearance, right? But it is what it is. So I'm going to come over to pilot to ATC. I'm going to find our ATIS. Let's get that rolling. Alright, it should automatically put it on our standby 119.15. Yep. So let's give it a transfer.
Miami International Information Juliet, 1953 Zulu, winds are 085 at 14 knots gusting to 20 knots. Visibility 10 miles. 4,300 scattered. 6,500 scattered. Temperature 24, dew point 14. Current altimeter is 3016. Arriving and departing runway 08 left, 08 right, 09er. Miami International Information Juliet, 1953 Zulu, winds are 085 at 14 knots gusting to 20 knots. Visibility 10 miles. 4,300 scattered. 6,500 scattered. Temperature 24, dew point 14. Current altimeter is 3016. Arriving and departing runway 08 left, 08 right, 09er. Miami International Information Juliet, 9.
Alright. I'm not sure how this got popped up. Nearest airports. I know what the menu is. I just don't know why it's up. Although, it's kind of cool. I don't remember seeing this before. I don't know if this is new or not. It's interesting. Well, I kind of want that to go away, though. Alright, well, we'll mess with it later. Okay, so our engines are started. So the first thing we need to do is program our first VOR frequency. So let's go ahead and get that. That's going to be let's say we're doing 117.1. So let's go ahead and get that in. So we're going to be using Nav Radio 1 here. We're going to find... Oop. So where were we? What were we looking for? 117.1. All right. There we go. So, and then we should be able to come down here. Let's go back. DME. Nav 1. We're looking for VOR 1. Let's switch it over. And there we go. 8.2 nautical miles away, folks. Alright, guys. So, our aircraft is, we're going to call it pre-flighted. We've got our VOR, our first VOR station, ready to roll. So, next is just a matter of setting our taxi light, getting clearance to fly out for our VFR flight, and then we will we'll jump out of here. So, we'll be right back. Alright, so now let's contact ATC and see if we can get this going here. You know what? I need to change my call sign though. Well, actually I think it makes me redo it. We'll just do the same one. It's fine. I'll change it for next time. Let's see here. So we need to tune clearance and delivery. It should be over here. Okay. And now Sun Transit 541 ready to copy VFR clearance.
Sun Transit 541 cleared VFR to Kilo Mike India Alpha with radar advisory service at 6,500 feet. Squawk 4662 advise of altitude changes en route. Departure on 120.5.
Alright. So apparently it's got us doing, this would be VFR with flight following if they're asking us to squawk. Which is fine. Let's go back here. Let's find our transponder. And she said 4662. 4662. And then so we go back. Have altitude following on. And we should be good to go. Now, the last thing I want to do is, yep, oh, that's at full display. Wow, okay, looks really dark. All right, well, never mind. And so it won't always turn on over here, so you got to make sure you do that. There we go. All right, so now we just need to get ground on the line here. Now, I think we need to pick a specific ground, if I remember correctly, but for today we'll just grab one. So 121.8, and let's see how this goes. Well, actually, you know what I need to do? I need to check the runways. So let's open up Navigraph. I'm sure there'll be an update. Hey, there wasn't today. That's amazing. I don't think Miami's on here. Oh, it's there. Let's open up the book. There we go. Taxi. Airport info. Alright, so we're over here, and it's using 26, I believe, is our departures today. That's what they said, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. I'm not 100% positive what Ada said. Let's see if I can scroll up. Nope. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure it's runway 26 is what we're looking for. 26 right. Let's contact ground. Miami ground, Sun Transit 541, request taxi, runway 26 right.
Sun Transit 541 taxi to runway 26 right via taxiways Lima 10. Hold short runway 26 right.
Don't you love it when phone calls interrupt your ATC clearance? Alright, so let's see here. We're doing taxi to runway 26 via taxiways Lima 10. Hold short runway 26. Taxi to runway 26 via taxiways Lima 10. Hold short runway 26 right. Sun Transit 541.
Sun Transit 541 taxi to 26 right.
That's what I said. Anyway. That's what I said. Booby traps. Alright, let's get out of here. Guess I should probably start the head tracker. Alright, so let's get things rolling here. Prop pitch to full. Parking brakes released. Rudder pedals all squared away here. Oh, I didn't even touch the brake. Come on, man. Whoa, what the heck? I guess that sort of makes sense based on where I parked, huh? Alright, let's get taxied out. Oops. Did I really miss that? How did I miss that taxi line? Fun day for a little flight. I feel like the proportions are really weird, or the camera angles, I should say, are really weird. It's like I remember being able to see over the nose of the Cessna, or the 182. I'm a tall guy, but I don't remember the window being quite that far off, but I guess it's possible. I haven't flown the 182 in quite a long time. It's going to be kind of cool. I figured we'd take an aircraft that was a bit faster than the 172. We should have plenty of fuel to get around. I didn't really do any fuel planning today, so if for any reason we start getting concerned about fuel, we'll just turn back to home using our VOR. And it's important to remember, for any reason you don't see this VOR1, tap your CDI button here. So there's VOR2. Okay, and then GPS, that's going to be our flight plan. That's the G1000. And then come back up and VOR1. And we could even set our VOR2 to our next waypoint, which we'll do probably once we get on course to the first one here. That way you're always one VOR ahead of yourself. You just do a quick tap, swap between the two, and you're on your way. Alright, so we are here. Kilo 10.
Sun Transit 541 contact tower on 118.3. Have a great flight.
Alright, 118.3. Contact tower 118.3, Sun Transit 541. Okay, we'll just swap that. Miami Tower, requesting takeoff. Sun Transit 541.
Sun Transit 541, winds are 085 at 15 knots, altimeter 3016, cleared for takeoff, runway 26 right.
Cleared for takeoff, Sun Transit 541. Just gonna push and go. Up and away. We'll wait till we clear the runway to start turning towards our nav source. Fight with the trim. Start making our turn.
Sun Transit 541, contact Miami departure on 120.5. Enjoy your afternoon.
Contact departure 120.5, Sun Transit 541. Looking. Uh-oh, I don't see that frequency. He did say 120.5, right? 120.5, that's what he said. Get my aircraft under control here.
Sun Transit 541, contact departure on 120.5.
Contact departure 120.5, Sun Transit 541, thank you. Miami departure, Sun Transit 541, climbing through 3000 with you.
Sun Transit 541, good afternoon. Radar contact. Sun Transit 541, you are off course. Turn right heading 023 to return to course.
Turn right 023. Sun Transit 541. Sun Transit 541, cancel flight following.
Sun Transit 541 Roger. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved.
Alright, that was cool. So now, basically we just told them, don't worry about following us anymore. We're going to do our own thing. And we're going to change to the VFR squad. There we go. And now we'll just go to on. Alright, so what I want to do here now is, she is right. We're heading the wrong direction. Heading against my course, so we're going to turn on over. I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, so apparently that got too confusing and I totally misread my line here. So the first thing that I'm wanting to do here is, it's not just a matter of turning to the... Here, let me do this. Oh, okay, so I think it stopped. Good. So it's not just a matter of turning so that the way our course, our VOR, is directly in front. This is our course line, okay? And so basically what this means is, the flight plan that we had set up to fly direct to it, we need to make sure we sort of fly towards this line, wait for it to intercept, so you have one solid green line, and then turn and follow. Okay, that lets you know you're not just pointed in the right direction, but you're actually on the right flight line to get to your destination, or in our case, our VOR location. So let's go ahead and do that. And so what you can do is you can sort of, I like to set myself up with like a 45-degree angle, at least when you're able, you know. I mean, it doesn't always work like that. Oh, this thing doesn't have autopilot. Huh. Oh yes, it does. It's down there. Never mind. Disregard. Let's say I thought it did. We're 6 miles away from it, so I'm actually going to make this a little steeper. Bouncing all over the place here. Let's go ahead and lock in our altitude. So we're going to do autopilot, altitude, and nav. $5,500 is good. And this way, we'll just sort of navigate our there we go. Nice steady cruise. Cruising, man, cruising. So we're 3.6 miles away, so I'm going to go ahead and set up our nav2 here. Well, actually no. We'll just set up our standby. So our next waypoint, sorry for the head turn, I'm turning a look at it there. So next we're going to look at 11440 for our next nav source. So do this nice and slow. You can get this. Alright, so we're ready for our next one when it's time. You can see that's our closure rate has reduced dramatically because we're at that 45-degree intercept. We're not flying straight at it anymore. But eventually we'll see this line come all the way down to the aircraft, and then we'll make our heading change. And it looks like it's actually already starting to. The aircraft's doing it for us. Which is interesting because the course line I would expect should be closing a bit faster than this. So it looks like it's actually just going to turn us right at it. Oh, there it comes. Never mind. Alright, alright. The computer knows what it's doing. It knows what it's doing. Alright. Spent good money on this thing, on this G1000. Alright. You go on with your bad self. Alright. And looks like we've passed it now, as you can see here. Which is interesting because we're on that course line for our VOR. But we've actually passed it, and you can tell by the distance changing. So let's go ahead and swap it. And if we wanted to come at it from a specific course, because that's what's wrong with my problem here. So if we were to adjust the course line, we choose the course when it comes to this. Oh, that's our altitude. Why is our altitude changing? Doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm changing the barometric pressure. I am retarded. I'm hitting the wrong one. It's 3016, right? Gosh, I hope that's right. That's how we change our course line. So if we want to come at this one, for example, that's how we would do that. So if we want to intercept this VOR at a course heading of 315, once we reach the 315 bearing, the aircraft should turn on course. Let's go ahead and take a look at Miami. Wow. It really is impressive to me when you guys live in a city like Tucson. I still get impressed with the large cities like this. see our closure distance is still coming in, so we're looking good. Alright, so I'll come back to you guys in a few minutes when we get a bit closer, because that's when we'll start to make the turn. Alright, so we're getting close here. We're about 6 miles away here from our VOR. And so it's important for you guys to, I want to clarify a little bit on how the course line works. You have your VOR beacon. Remember I said it transmits a signal in all directions. What this is determining the course line is what heading do you want to be flying as you cross over the VOR. Alright, so this would be used, for example, you know, if you needed to be on a runway heading, if you were using a VOR to get to a runway, you'd want to tune the runway course. That way, at the time that you cross over the VOR, you're on the same course heading and course line as the runway. Okay, so I hope that makes a little bit better sense on how the course line works. For example, our next VOR, sorry, looking off the screen here, we're going to be going for 110.4, and we're going to want to be on a track of 311. So let's see here, 110.4 is what we're looking at for the next one. So I'm going to go ahead and start tuning that as we get closer. 1.4. Oh, bumped it. 0. Thank God for autopilot. Otherwise, using the mouse would be a pain. I'll have to figure out what's going on. Why I couldn't. I tried to bind the right click and the mouse wheel to it, and I have some sort of axis that's being tracked. I'm not sure. I'm wondering if I'm moving the mouse. I bet you that's what it is. Actually, I didn't think about that. But no matter what I do, it moves it. So I'll have to fight with that later. So coming up on 2.5 miles here. So we should start to see our course line turn in here pretty quick. The aircraft start making its turn, because actually alright, sorry about that interruption there. I had someone coming to my door. Alright, so 2 miles away. We're actually a little high, honestly. We probably wouldn't be flying through clouds like this in a Cessna, but the joys of simming, right? I know that some of these big giant clouds can be really nasty on a Cessna, especially VFR. How did our altimeter change? Did I bump it again? And there's our bearing, you can see here. So this displays the bearing to the VOR. And so as this line intercepts our heading line, we should see the course line fall in. And here it is. At this point, our aircraft should start to turn. Oh, what happened? Why didn't you follow that? That was weird. Somehow we got off of nav. Alright, so if you were flying manually, as the course line started to fall in, that's when you would start your turn. Again, you just want to turn in a way that you intercept the course line. So now it's going to come back the other direction. It's going to wait for the course line to fall back in on the flight line. And like you see right here, once it gets closer, the aircraft will turn to the right and line up on the correct heading. Alright, and so for our track for this next VOR, we want a course heading of, looking over to the right here, 311. So again, we're going to grab our course knob here and change it to 311. Now what's our distance to this one here? 4.3, not bad. And so our next one, we should probably set that up pretty quick here. Oh, you know what happened is I didn't switch it. Shame on me. Stop. There we go. Now we have the right track. Okay, so now we're, like I said, we're not following it because we're too far out, so we can't actually acquire it. So we just got to stay on this course heading until we get there. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is manually change our heading. To match 311. Oh, we're going to... Oh, damn it. I didn't hit the heading button. I'm just all over the place. I really don't know why you guys watching my stuff, because I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Ah, that damn zoom. There. Alright. So this should be roughly what we're looking for, and as soon as we get a distance and a bearing, we'll know that we've picked up the VOR. But we're far enough out that we're unable to pick it up at this time. So once we acquire, I'm going to stay on this heading, and once we acquire the VOR, I'll come back to you guys. So actually, let's do a change of plans, because you guys pretty much got the gist here. So let's do this. Let's close our frequencies window. So this is the one we're currently heading for, so we don't need to go way out there. Let's turn it back home. So we're going to come back to the Dolphins VOR, and we're looking for 113.9. We should be able to pick that one up. So let's come up here. Just do a nice, gentle use of these controls to make sure we don't hit the zoom. And let's give that a tap. And that one we've got. And we want to be intercepting that one on a track of 113 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and set our course. Nope, almost did it. Set my course line first, because we're definitely in front of it. Come on, we can get there. You can do it. You can do it. Almost no issues. Oh, there it is, 113. And let's go ahead and tap that nav button again. And let's start heading home. So what's our distance here? 5 miles to the VOR. We are on track for that, but something doesn't seem right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Somehow we came off. That was my fault. Darn it. Because the bearing, it's way over here. It's out that way. So we would have to adjust our course line in order to hit that right now. Oops. Damn it. Because it's off to our right. VOR is out over here. That's why we're flying directly over the runway right now, so we need to turn it. So that was probably from me screwing this up here for a second, so we're going to go ahead and turn her. Mr. Turner. And I'm going to set it on the course for the VOR. That's where that bearing needle comes in handy. So what had happened, and that was my fault, if you guys saw, we had changed modes for the autopilot. So it took us into a position where we were no longer able to automatically intercept that course line. It wasn't possible. We were if our aircraft was here, the VOR was here, but we were telling it we wanted to approach from over here. And by that point, it wasn't possible to reach that line anymore. So it gets us away from the airport, which is good. Oh, it looks pretty cool. But anyway, so I hope you guys all learned something, and you can see down here, there's the Dolphin VOR. Now we're pointed right at, so that's good. Let's go ahead and set ourselves up to get back home. So hopefully I've got Miami Approach tuned in. Miami Approach, Sun Transit 541 with you at 2500 to the west.
Sun Transit 541 MIA international winds are 065 at 10 knots.
That makes me think she's given us the approach. Wonder what happens if I request the runway. Miami Approach, Sun Transit 541, request runway 08.
Sun Transit 541, this is Miami Approach on 124.85. Please repeat your request.
Request landing, Sun Transit 541.
Sun Transit 541, this is Miami Approach on 124.85. Please repeat your request.
Doesn't like something I'm saying. Alright, so let's come off the autopilot here. I guess I'm just going to start turning towards home. I still have a lot to learn with pilot to ATC, so don't put too much credit in that yet. Going stage 1 flaps. We tuned to our course line like we wanted on the VOR. Whoa, we are in way too close. Fail. Epic fail. Failing with the failers. Alright, well, I'm just going to land it. You guys ready for an awesome space shuttle landing? Alright, so we're going to put full flaps on the board here. Full mixture, full prop. That landing light turned on. Ah! This is a drag when you decide to land last minute in a completely unorthodox, FAA not approved manner. So this is what you do if you guys never want to fly again and just feel like losing your pilot's license. But I want to land, and that's fun. You guys have seen enough of the video and probably done listening to me gawk. Whoa! Traffic! That's the first time I've ever seen traffic. I never get traffic. Traffic never comes for me. Where are you going? You're flying on the perpendicular? That was not considered an active runway according to ATIS, sir. So yeah, I need to mess around with pilot to ATC a bit more, get more fluent about how the procedurals work with it, when to do what, how to request what I'm looking for. Not perfect, but it's a good training aid, definitely. Alright, we are down. Alright, so we're going to park next to the floating aircraft here. This is a cool place. This is where all the cool kids park. Oh, look at that plane starting up. Seriously, I never see any traffic, so this is kind of fun for me. You ever notice it's always the same planes that are floating? This one's missing the canopy. Oh, come on, I barely touched the brake. Alright, we're going to leave her here. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial on VOR navigation. We're going to be doing some more of it. Need to refine things a bit more, but I hope this at least gave you a generalized idea on how VOR works and maybe give you some ideas on how to plan your next flight. As always guys, leave any comments or questions down in the description below or in the comment field down below. Look forward to hearing from you guys, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take care guys.